Welcome to this lesson where we are going to be looking at clause 4 or section 4 that looks into site standards. In BRC issue 9 or BRC Global Standard for Food Safety issue 9, there has been a lot of additions under this clause. You'll see that as we go through the sub clauses, there are many additions and many revisions that are very interesting. So you must ensure that you really go through this clause and see exactly what are the changes, because if you are not careful, you can be caught off guard because of the small changes, some change that seem insignificant, but that can completely change your audit outcome. Let's now look at the first change. The first change is under clause 4.1 and it deals with external standards and site security. The major revision is under clause 4.1.4, where policies and systems shall be in place to ensure that access to the site by staff, contractors, and visitors is controlled. Furthermore, contractors and visitors, including drivers, shall be made aware of the procedures for access to the site. In addition to that, only authorized personnel shall have access to the production and storage areas, and staff shall be trained in site security procedures. In clause 4.2 that covers food defense, the new BRCGS issue 9 has renamed it to food defense instead of site security. The emphasis is on complying with the country of sale or intended use food defense plan requirements and training requirement. There is emphasis on ensuring that food defense team is adequately informed about food defense risk and that the knowledge shall include the site and food defense principles. Under clause 4.3, production risk zones are now the requirement of the site layout. Under clause 4.4, there is an addition of mezzanine floors under 4.4.6, addition of clause 4.4.11 dedicated to the maintenance and cleaning of strip curtains. Under clause 4.5, clause 4.5.1 requires that water stored on site shall be managed to prevent food safety risk, and 4.5.2 requires that the water source be included as part of the water distribution schematic diagram. Clause 4.6, this clause has been completely revised to include the following: that there must be documented purchase specification for any new equipment detailing the site requirements for the equipment. Then there must also be a documented risk-based commissioning procedure that is put in place to ensure that food safety and integrity is maintained during the installation of new equipment. The standard further expands to need that, or to mandate that this shall include a hygiene clearance procedure and how the new equipment may affect the site's current procedures. There is also a new requirement looking into mobile equipment such as forklift trucks and pallet jacks that is covered under clause 4.6.6, and movement of static equipment that is covered under clause 4.6.4. There is also emphasis on ensuring that all food contact in equipment is food grade. That is mainly covered by clause 4.6.3 and clause 4.6.5. There is an additional requirement that battery charging equipment is not kept in open product areas or where they can pose a risk to product unless maintenance free, or unless they are maintenance free or maintained, and that is covered under clause 4.6.7. Clause 4.9.1 has a change under clause 4.9.1.1, where it requires that procedures to manage any spills and procedures for the safe legal disposal or return of obsolete or out-of-date chemicals and empty chemical containers must be in place. In addition, there is clarification that chemicals used for raw materials must be stored away from other chemicals. Under clause 4.9.6, there is a change under clause 4.9.62, where it is a requirement that the control of portable handheld items such as pens and pencils and provides guidance on how this can be controlled. So essentially, there must be a control of portable handheld items such as pens and pencils. Under clause 4.9.6.3, it is a requirement that there must be procedures that are risk-based for the control of other types of foreign materials not explicitly addressed by the standard. Under clause 4.10, specifically clause 4.10.3.5, it is dedicated to X-ray equipment testing procedures, including how the test pieces should be used. Clause 4.10.7 is completely new and focuses on the need to ensure that checks on other foreign body detection and removal equipment are documented. We're now going to discuss clause 4.11. Clause 4.11 deals with housekeeping and hygiene, and it is a fundamental requirement. There are not so many major changes under this clause, it's just clarifications. Most of the things that they are referred to in the clause were already implemented, but of course then more clarity has been given to assist the site in being able to interpret the requirements that fall under this main requirement. Let's now have a look at clause 4.11.2. There is an addition of the term disinfection, which then modifies the requirement to read as follows under clause 4.11.2. Documented cleaning and disinfection procedures shall be in place and maintained for the building, plant, and all equipment. There is also an elaboration in terms of cleaning records. Although this was something that was always done, the requirement has, or this new version has clarified that cleaning records shall include records for completion and sign off. Let's now discuss 4.11.8, which deals with environmental monitoring. There's just been a minor change there, where the statement of intent has been slightly changed so that the organization only has a risk-based environmental monitoring program that only considers relevant pathogens or spoilage organisms. Therefore, the statement of intent reads as follows. Risk-based environmental monitoring programs shall be in place for relevant pathogens or spoilage organisms. Clause 4.12, specifically clause 4.12.3, requires that waste disposal from product open areas shall be managed to ensure that it does not compromise product safety. Clause 4.13, specifically clause 4.13.2 or 4.13.2, requires that products that are given to staff or charity must contain traceability and be safe for human consumption. Clause 4.14, there is a change of wording from survey to assessment. Clause 4.16, there is nothing major except clause 4.16.6, where the approval of contractors can be based on two things, which are a valid certification to the applicable BRC global standard for food safety, or GFSI benchmark standard or a completed contract or terms and conditions.